Okay, shalom everyone, welcome to Torah School. I am Eric Allen. I thank you for getting in your seats before this bell rang. You should be in the seats by the time the bell starts to ring. No, actually, a couple minutes after the bell rings, you're fine. Everything's okay. We're not giving demerits or detention because coming in a couple minutes after the bell rings. Relaxed attitude here. I understand, playing in the playground's fun. Alright, so, anyway, hallelujah. Just joking around. All joking around. Let's go a couple more things just to start school. We have I pledge allegiance to Yahshua and to the kingdom for which he stands, one nation, united under Yahweh, indivisible with freedom and right ruling for all. Oh no, the microphone James Fry, that's actually, no, I created that with the help of Print Artist. I hope we get the new, yeah, you were early. I like that. But no, the artwork is the stuff behind me is the Michael James Fry artwork, but right now behind me I got the green screen because I'm hoping to be able to edit this and make it look even better professional. But anyway, yeah, let's sing our song and then we'll be ready to go. Okay, welcome everyone. Hallelujah. Dear Heavenly Father Yahweh, we do thank you for your Sabbath. We thank you for the fellowship we've had so far, the food we've eaten so far. We thank you for a day of rest, a day to be rejuvenated, revived, and rested, and study your word. We ask now as we open your word, as we open your Torah, that you send your spirit among us and help us to understand your ways. In Yahshua's name we ask, make it so. Hallelujah. Alright, hallelujah. Welcome everyone. Yeah, you were early. I saw the conversation going on in the chat room. What was going on, they had three different speakers. Each one presented individually, and then the other one came up. It's in the archives. It'll be fun to watch. Anyway, yes, I did not realize that one of them was the mayor of Cisco. I knew he was a member of Cisco, Texas, but I didn't realize he was the mayor of Cisco. So yeah, that's very interesting. But yeah, all right. So there we have that. So today on Torah School. Today in class, in Torah School, we are going to be studying Noah's Ark. And as promised earlier in the chat room, Tebah. Tebah is the word which is translated Ark. We're going to study Tebah. We're also going to study Gopher. And we're going to study Amah. So we're going to study those three words together and because Tebah is the ark and Gopher is what it's made out of, I can't end it with a preposition. Sorry, Gopher is of which it is made, and Amah is the unit of measure which we are going to the length and the height and the depth. So there we go, and next. Let's go with the scriptures first. Everybody goes to Genesis. This week's Torah portion is Noach. Starts in Genesis chapter 9. It goes all the way through 8, 9. Yes. But we're not going to get out of chapter 6 with our study here. So starting with 6 to 9, it says, "This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with Elohim, and Noah brought forth sons brought forth 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And the earth was corrupt before Elohim, and the earth was filled with violence. And Elohim looked upon the earth, and saw that it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. And Elohim said to Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And see, I am going to destroy them from the earth. Make yourself an ark, make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside and outside with tar. And this is how you are to make it. The length of the ark is 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. Make a window for the ark, and complete it to 1 cubit from above, and set the door of the ark in its side, and make it with lower, second, and third decks. And see, I myself am bringing floodwaters on the earth, to destroy all flesh, which is in which is the breath of life from under the heavens, and all that is on the earth is to die. And see, I shall establish my covenant with you, and shall come back, and you shall come into the ark, and you and your sons and your wives with you, and all the living creatures and all flesh, 2 of each you are to bring into the ark, to keep them alive with you, male and female. And of the birds after their kind, of the cattle after their kind, and of all the creeping creatures of all the earth after their kind, 2 of each are to come to keep them alive. As for you, take all food that is eaten and gather it to yourself, and it shall be food for you and for them. And Noah did all that Elohim commanded him, so he did. Alright, so now our key verses here, of course, verse 14 and verse 15. So here's how we're going to begin our study, and we're going to find our words through the King James Version of the Bible with the Strong's. Yeah. so the Strong's. And see, we have make the ark of gopher wood. So with the first word there, ark, if I can get this to work, I practiced with it all day yesterday. If I can get this to work, it's not a pen, but yeah, we have an arrow. We have the arrow working in it. So right here, it said make the ark. Right here, the ark, and we can see is Strong's. Strong's gives this number 8392. So this is our first beginning, and this can be Tabah. So we'll come back to this later, but here is Tabah. Now this is in the ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible, and it gives it the number 1028. Actually, the root is 1028, and then you have A sub I, and we already have that circled. We already have that circled here. A sub I is the word which we are studying. And it says here it's a box, an empty container to be filled. So we're going to look at that. Of course, it says it's used 28 times, and it's Strong's 8392. So we have what? What letters we have there? We have the Tate. No, we have the Tav. Isn't that Tav? Yes, it's a Tav. So we have the Tav, then we have the Bait, and we have the Hay. Make it a little bit easier to see, I actually made it a little bit larger so we can see that. So we can see the Tav, the Bait, and the Hay. And we can see that definition a little bit larger. Tebah. Yes. Tebah. There's our word. Tebah. And now, to make this a little bit less confusing, everybody's fighting it. Well, the ancient Hebrew, I can't learn an ancient Hebrew language, and you're right, and I can't either. But you can use the elements of the ancient Hebrew language to study Torah, and that's basically what we're doing here. And maybe we will learn the ancient Hebrew language in the process. But okay, Debbie asked a question: is that the Ark of the Covenant? No. The Ark of the Covenant is 1020 in the ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible, and it's Aaron. Not Aharon, not the name of Moshe's brother, but Aaron. So you have the Aleph, Resh, Nun. I think there's, Aleph, Resh, Vav, Nun. There's the Vav is in there. The Aleph, Resh, Vav, Nun is the Ark of the Covenant. But this is the Ark that Moses was put in to keep him alive. Also, it's the same word here. Where we will study the Ark of the Covenant when we get to that part in the Torah portion, very much in depth, because we are to build everything exactly as we saw as the image on the mountain. It's not Strong's number 1020. It's Ancient Hebrew Lexicon of the Bible 1020. I think it's Strong's number 727. Okay, yeah, it's not Strong number 1020. It's Ancient Hebrew Lexicon of the Bible 1020. Yeah, I was hoping they were the same words, but they weren't. On Facebook, I put the Ark of the Covenant on there just to cause curiosity and interest. But all right, so that's the Ark of the Covenant. But we're talking about the Ark that Noah was in, and now and the Ark that Moses was in. So we have here. We have the first letter is a Tav. Now that doesn't look like the ancient Hebrew. That doesn't even look like the ancient Hebrew Tav. We did this to make it more clear. Tav can be a sign, a mark, a monument, and in this essence, in the way it's used in this word, it's a monument. So we have a picture of a monument. So this is the ancient Hebrew. The ancient Hebrew was a pictorial language. So they drew pictures of what they recognized. We're drawing pictures of what we recognize, and it's going to be the same picture. So we have a Tav, a picture of a monument. And then we have okay. That's why it's not working. Okay, then we have now here we have over here we have a tent. They drew the inside of a tent. They drew the floor plan of a tent. You had the male room, and then you had the female room of a tent, and that's where they got the letter bait. And it made sense to them, but to us, this makes sense. This is the floor plan of our house. We have our rooms in our house, and this is what the concept of the bait is rooms, is a place to dwell, a dwelling place. So we have our dwelling place here. And so we have the Tav and the bait. We have a monument, and then we have a dwelling place. And then we have a man with arms raised, as if he's taking a deep breath. Of course, a man with arms raised could also be standing straight, trying to flag someone over. And that's what it's usually used as a hey, look at this, trying to get someone's attention. But here, it can also mean just taking a breath and relaxing. Taking a deep breath, and that's what it means. So we have a monument, or a building. So we're building a place to keep the breath. All living creatures, all the breathing creatures will be kept alive and we're housed by what we are building. So there we have Tabah. And hopefully that makes it a little bit more clear by using the modern pictures instead of the ancient pictures. But that's what Tabah represents. A place to keep a breath alive. In the ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible, it says a place needing filled. Of course, it's going to be filled with the people and the animals that Yahweh wants to keep alive. So we're going to have a house to keep the breath. So that is our first word. Our second word okay, we go back to our second word, and we can see our second word is gopher. So what we're going to make this house out of is gopher. And right here that is. I wish there would be a line where I can circle that, but we'll learn how to do that later. You can see the arrow pointing to gopher. It's better than what we had before. We had the gopher. That's Hebrew 16:13. That's in the Strongs. In the Strongs, it's Hebrew 16:13. Yep. AncientHebrew.org. That's exactly where I'm getting these definitions from. There are other places for definitions, as somebody I was studying with today pointed out. And he showed me a couple of other websites that have other meanings and have other pictures. Yeah, gopher is Strong 16:13. Yeah, I am getting all these from AncientHebrew.org. That's where I'm getting all these graphics from as well, also from the Ancient Hebrew Lexicon of the Bible. It is still the top authority, in my opinion, as far as the Ancient Hebrew is concerned. But now our next word is 16:13, so let's go there. I'm going to skip ahead because I didn't duplicate the slide. But here's 16:13. Hebrew 16:13, and we can see that it's not used as often in the Bible as the other is. Actually, this word is, according to the Ancient Hebrew Lexicon of the Bible, a three-letter root of itself. Strong says it came from a root, but the root wasn't used in the Bible. But here, this lists it as its own root, and also we have brimstone coming from that root. But we're not going to worry about that as much as we're going to worry about what gopher is. And I'm not sure if I'm right, because there's no other reference anywhere to this. But I'm going with what the Ancient Hebrew Lexicon of the Bible says, as far as it being a word from an unknown tree. So you can see we have the Gimel, and then we have Pei and Resh. And we can see our Gimel there is a foot, an image of a foot, and then the Pei is an image of a mouth, and the Resh is the image of a man's head. Or at least that's the way they drew them back in the ancient Hebrew days. But here, we have the Gimel, an image of a foot, and the Pei, an image of a mouth, and the Resh is a man's head. So what does the image of a foot indicate or insinuate when we see an image of a foot? What kind of images come to our mind? What kind of thoughts come to our mind? What does that mean? And I forgot to do that. I was going to have the look at the word shape and try and guess the word. Yeah. Next week we'll have that. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, Mr. Torah School. I like that. Our students are paying attention and contributing to the conversation. So, gopher, translation, a tree or it's wood of an unknown species. So that is Strong's Hebrews 16:13. So I like you taking notes and putting that on there. I thought Gimel was a camel. It can be. I think I think they are related because that's where we get the word camel from. But according to ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible, it's a picture of a man's foot, or a picture of a foot, and it indicates walking. And of course, when you're walking, you're gathering. So, meditating on this all day yesterday, well, some of the day yesterday, all day this morning, contemplating it. If you gather water, if you use your foot to indicate gathering, then you gather water. What gathers water? Because many people are saying this is a cypress tree, and I can't reach any conclusion to say that they're wrong. But an interesting thing, but we'll find out with the cypress tree in a second. Okay, we gather water, and then we have the image of the mouth, and the mouth is you blow or you scatter, or the edge is what the mouth represents according to the ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible. Yeah, ancienthebrew.org, that's where you got it from. Thank you. Alright, so the image of a mouth. Where do you get where do you find the ancient Hebrew lexicon? Yeah, right there. www.ancienthebrew.org is where we're going to find the ancient Hebrew lexicon. You can order a hard print copy, and there's a back door someplace there on that website where you can download a PDF for free. And I appreciate the work that he's doing and the fact that he's humble enough to allow this to be downloaded for free. He's not going to say, well, you got to give me $100 to buy this small book. No, he's not. He does charge you a fee for the book, but the fee is reasonable considering the fact of all the work that went into the book and the fact that the book is being published and the price to publish a book. Yeah, so he's very humble, and that's why I appreciate him, and that's why I respect him, because of the work that he's doing. He's putting it out there so we can learn. His motivation is that we can study this, not that he can become rich, which is a good indicator. So we have the mouth, and the mouth can represent blow, scatter, edge. So if we first gather water, and then we scatter water, and of course we have the man's head. This man's head represents first, top, or beginning. Now in our Greek mindset which we've inherited, our Western Gentile mentality, those images don't go together very well. But let's suppose it was known that a tree, and this is true of the cypress tree. You take a cypress tree, when you cut it down, it's heavy and it's full of water, but you let it dry out. Let it dry out for like 6 months, and then it's completely dry. It has no water in it. And then you can pour water on it, and the water it will not absorb the water after you pour the water on it. After it has dried out completely, it will not take any water. So we have a tree that gathers water, and then when you cut down and dries out, it scatters water. You pour water on top of it, and the water scatters. It doesn't absorb the water. So that is where we can get cypress tree from. Of course, they got brimstone from the fact that you gather and you burn it, and that's where you get the brimstone. The brimstone comes from that. There's other letters in the brimstone. This could be this could actually be a metal alloy if you want to go a different direction with that. But right now we're going to go with the cypress tree for lack of better evidence on anything else. But that makes sense. A tree that gathers water, and then after it dries out, it scatters water. When you pour water on top of it, the water scatters. But, moving on. Okay, that's our next word. we'll see where we get our next word from the Bible first. Gotta take this little short baby steps so we can all understand. When I skip steps and I go ahead, then I get people confused, and I don't want to do that. So, yeah, that is Jeff Banner doing the Ancient Hebrew Lexicon of the Bible. But our next word is I should have studied pitch also, because that's an interesting word. But in the next verse, we have the length of it, because we're going to see this. This is a pretty big, and the dimensions here also indicate the shape of it. So you make it the length of the ark shall be 300 cubits. The breadth of the ark 50 cubits, and the height of the ark 30 cubits. So it's not as high as it is wide, or breadth. The breadth of it, the width of it is it's wider than it is tall. It's 50 cubits wide. It's only 30 cubits tall. So that gives us an image somewhat, and then it's 300 cubits long. So it's wide by 30 cubits, but it's long. It's 10 times as long as it is wide, and it's 10 times as long as it is tall, and then it's just a little bit, almost 2/3 wide as it is tall. But what is a cubit? For us to know what's going on, we need to know what a cubit is. And a comedy routine back in the early days of the 70s asked the same question: what's a cubit? So let's find out what a cubit is. It is Hebrew word 520. So Hebrew word 520 is our cubit. Right here. Yeah, Hebrew word 520. So let's go look at that. Okay, we find out the Hebrew word 520 in Strong's is 1013 in the Ancient Hebrew Lexicon of the Bible. And then 1013 is our root, and our root is the Aleph Mem, and that means it usually means binding or glue. The olive represents the strength and the water, so a liquid that strongly binds. Combine these mean a strong liquid. And glue is made by placing, that just goes on with the they got the mindset of a strong liquid being glue. But then that's the aleph and the mem as our root. But we skip down here to 1013a and then n1. A is the arm that binds things together. And the arm is seen as glue that encircles and holds together. So that's the aleph mem again. The same root, going in further. But we go to the noon, and we go to the N1, or NT1 actually. But if we go to that, it's just the way he marks the words. And we'll go into I'll have to explain that from the Ancient Hebrew Lexicon of the Bible. I should have done that in the very first episode. Next week we'll get that. I haven't studied that. You have to be able to explain that. But these letters actually mean something. Every tongue has a different letter. It shows something relevant to what we're studying. And I should have actually pointed that out at the very first episode. So we will get to that. But so when we add the hay, we have the aleph mem hay. It means a linear standard of measure equal to the length of the forearm. That's an interesting use of the hay. So I made that a little bit larger so we could see it there. Same thing, what I just read. The Aleph Mem Hey equals a unit of measure equal to the length of the forearm. But now let's look at our pictographs. Now I put these in reverse order, because in the ancient Hebrew everything went forward. It goes forward from right to left in a logical manner from right to left. But here in America, for some reason we reverse everything and go from left to right. Makes no sense. But that's what we've inherited and that's what we have. So that's what we're used to seeing. So I actually reversed it. So the Aleph is first and the Mem is second and the Hey is last. Of course in Hebrew they go in correct order. They go from right to left. But in English we go from left to right for some strange reason beyond my comprehension. But let's find out how we get a linear measure equal to the length of a forearm out of the Aleph, the Mem, and the Hey. We can understand this. So the Aleph represents power, an ox head. The Aleph is a picture of an ox head. The Mem is a picture of water. And here the Mem, in my humble opinion, is representing chaos. And we have the Hey, a man with arms raised, as if to reveal something, to draw attention to something. So we have the Aleph, the Mem, and the Hey. The Aleph is power, chaos, and reveal. So what do we do to measure something? We have chaos before we measure it, and then we have the power over the chaos when we can reveal the chaos and somehow control it. So the Hey, in this case, not only is to reveal, to make the chaos understandable, to reveal the power over the chaos, but it also demands arm. So we have a man with arms raised and the length, and we reveal the chaos by using our arm. So I love that way the use of the Hey was in here, the use of the arm. So the length of the arm helps us to measure that which which was chaotic to us before we measured it. So that's how they get that out of that. So the length of the arm is, I guess, many people say 18 inches. So we have 18 inches times 50. That's how wide our arc is. And trying to do the math in my head because I didn't think about doing this until now. Yeah, a ruler brings order. Exactly. I like that. We use a ruler, and our ruler brings order. So we had chaos, and then we had power over the chaos, which brings order from the chaos by using the ruler. They used their arm. They just used their arm. I like that, Debbie. Okay, Torah School says our ruler brings order, making a pun, and then Debbie went along with the pun, saying he certainly does. Yes, Yahshua does bring order. I like that. Cool. So, yeah. So we have 18 inches times 10 would be 180. 180 divided by 2 is 90. So 18 times 5 is 90, so we have 900 inches. If that helps us make it clear. 900 inches. That's how wide it is. It's 900 inches wide. It's pretty big. You figure there's 12 inches in a foot. It's pretty big. So that gives us an idea of how big it is. And like I said, the shape of it. I did a very bad job earlier today taking a box I found on the internet, because I think it's the shape of a box. It doesn't say anything about tapering off into the shape of a boat on the bottom of it. It says you build it this long, this wide, this tall. Didn't say anything about putting rooters on the bottom of it so you can steer it. Didn't say anything about putting an arc shape on the bottom of it so you can make it easier to steer. There's no instructions in that, so I'm seeing the instructions to do just a box. And especially since the word is related, the word for when we get to that, for the Ark of the Covenant, is the same word which is used for coffin. So it is related there, and I'm seeing just a long box. 300 cubits. Yeah, 300 cubits long, and 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits tall. Another thing, I'm not sure what they would call the side of this. We always have a top. Is this the front, and is this the side? Is the door put here in the side? Because as long if we have this long, that would be almost like the front, would it not? And here's the side. So I think our door is actually in the side. And it does say make the door with lower second and third decks. Is it to make the ark with lower second and third decks itself? So we do have 3 decks within the ark, each deck being 10 cubits approximately. You have to allow for the wood itself and the structure to support that wood, the framing. So give or take, but we still have well over 9 cubits per deck. And where do we read that? Let's go back to the scriptures. Alright, so let's go back to the scriptures here. Because it said to make it with upper, lower, and third decks. Follow the rules. Okay. No talking in class. No, that's fine. I like that. And we're sharing it with the classroom, so it's good. When children of the light walk in orderly fashion. Of course, we're making a pun on an English word. It would be fun if it actually would work. But anyway, if that would actually mean, if that would indicate a ruler, but it doesn't indicate a ruler at all. It indicates bringing chaos to order in that sense by measuring it with our forearm. Having power over chaos when we use our forearm. Yeah, I like that though. I like your conversation. Follow the rules. Yes. Yeah, okay, here in verse 16. We did read that. Make a window for the ark, and complete it to a cubit from above, and set the door of the ark in its side. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. Is that just the door made with lower, second, and third decks, or the entire ark made with lower, second, and third decks? Alright. Yes, I do appreciate your comments. Thank you, Torah School. You must have passed the note you passed to Debbie must have had a joke written on it because she's laughing. I don't know, but anyway. All right, so that is our ark. Do we have any questions or comments? So how big is the ark exactly? have a little bit of time for that, so let's open up the calculator here on this program here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. It'd be worth a shot. See if I can make it so you can see it. As if you don't trust the calculator. My math, I already did the 18 inches times 50, and we came up with 900 inches. But let's open up the calculator now. Oh, there's no way you're going to see that. It's way too small. But anyway, can we make it bigger? Nope, we can't. Alright, so anyway, but what is 300 what do we get when we get 300 and we multiply that by 18? What does it equal? I can't even read this. I'm going to bring it back up here so I can read it. I divided, didn't I? I hit the wrong button. Okay, let's go to here. 300 times 18. I hit divided because I couldn't see what I was doing. That's 5,400. We divide that by 12. And we have 450 feet long. Whose house is 450 feet long? Oh, you can see the calculator. So I'll move the calculator here and do it again. Okay. Alright. 450 feet long is our result. We multiplied 18 times 300, we have 9,500 inches, and then we divided by 12, and we have 450 feet long. I did not know that, Debbie, but thank you. You'll be a lot of contributing when we finally start doing the Torah school numbers. 18 is the number of life. That's good. 450 feet is how long our ark is. How many feet are in a mile? Does anyone know how many feet are in a mile? Brownie points. Extra bonus question. How many feet are in a mile? And I got a converter someplace close by, if I can find it. So how many feet are in a mile? So how many miles long is it? It's probably about a quarter of a mile long. Yeah, this isn't going to tell me, so I don't know. I don't know. How many feet are in a mile? If you got the wrong answer, I wouldn't tell you right or wrong. So we got here Goliath and Og, king of Bashan, I think. Yeah. Actually, it was, I think it was one of Goliath's relatives. Or maybe it was Og. Yeah, I think it was Og, king of Bashan. And is he not a large man whose bedstead was 13 cubits? 13 cubits was considered a very long bed. So we have 300 cubits. Well, I guess 13 cubits would be long. If he was 13 cubits tall, then he wouldn't fit on the deck, which was 10 cubits tall, would he? But 10 cubits tall was enough for a deck, if they had even decks. I'm not sure how they did that. If the elephants were infants, And that makes a lot better sense. If they had infants or embryos, as far as the animals on the ark, that would make it even easier to have 7 pairs of the ones we're going to sacrifice, and the ones we can eat, and 2 pairs of the other, or actually just 1 pair of the other. So we have 14 of one of the clean animals and 2 of the unclean. But yeah, that'd be, so we have 300 cubits long. Alright, so with that we will conclude our class. Dear Heavenly Father Yahweh, we do thank you for your Torah. We thank you for the opportunity to study your Torah. We thank you for the knowledge that you've given us of the ancient Hebrew language, so we can use that to better understand your Torah and better understand the imagery that is in your Torah. And knowing the words that were used by you when you spoke your Torah, we can understand the meaning that you have given to us. Instead of using the English translations and relying on them, we can actually study your language and study it as it was written, as you commanded it, and understand it even deeper. We do thank you for everything, Father Yahweh. We ask as we go about our week that you keep us well, keep us mindful of your Torah, and help us to build your kingdom. And may your kingdom come quickly and your will be done. In Yahshua's name we ask. Make it so. Hallelujah. Alright, and so it is. Alright, thank you all for joining us. And thank you all for your participation. And there we go. Hallelujah. Okay, we got 1 mile equals 6,076 feet. And somebody says 1 mile equals 5,200 feet. 5,280. I've heard the 5,280, yeah. So, wow. Okay, maybe class is not dismissed. Thank you. I guess there's a delay. I forgot about the delay between what I see and what you type. So yeah, maybe this was typed 10 minutes ago and I'm just now seeing it, but hallelujah. Why are there 5,280 feet in a mile? Okay, it's an ancient length used by the Romans, equals to 5,000 Roman feet. When the British started using it as a length unit, it was necessary to relate it to a furlong, which was a very common length unit used in agriculture. Okay, not architecture, but agriculture. A furlong is 660 feet. It was decided that 1 mile to have 8 furlongs. That is why there are 5,280 feet in a mile. Very interesting. Very interesting. I like that. Yeah, and the English, for some reason, everything is based on 8s. Instead of based on 10s, it's based on 8s. Yeah. I don't understand, but that's how they, even when they started putting the computers together, you had 8 bits would equal into a byte. Instead of having 10 cells, you had 8. And then still based on 8, now we actually use 64 now. And hexadecimal is, if you can break down the hexadecimal words, you know exactly what it's supposed to represent. But back in the binary days, you had 8 binary numbers to represent a graphic. And you wrote the binary numbers down on top of each other, you would actually be able to see what graphic you were creating by poking those values in. Poking, that's a basic command, but yeah, by entering those commands in the assembly language, or in, yeah, you would be able to control what graphic you presented. But anyway, that's interesting. Everything's based on 8s in the English, but very interesting about the miles. Yeah, so 5,200 feet is a mile. We have 450 feet, so we're about basically not even 1/10 of a mile. So it's not as huge as I was imagining. when putting it in context of a mile. But yeah, it's still pretty big box, pretty big structure. All right, so shalom everyone. Yahweh bless you and have a fantastic week. And I can't stop the stream. Hallelujah. Maybe there's a reason why I can't stop the stream. Is anything else going on here?